Regan Slaymaker for International Boxing News, and I have the pleasure to be joined by Harlem Eubank. Harlem, how are you today, mate?
Very well, thank you, man. Back to work, so yeah, back in it now.
Definitely, I was going to say, doing a nice little session over there. How was the session? How was training here in general?
Good, I love being here. I'm amongst great fighters, great people. It's a good environment, coaches, people training in the gym. It's a great environment to be in with such good people for one, but great fighters as well.
Definitely, and we'll get straight into it. So, solid UD win against Antin the other day. How do you, obviously now the dust has settled a little bit, now you're back in the gym. How do you reflect on your performance a couple of weeks ago?
I think it was good. Overcome different things in the fight. Tough, come forward opponent, and outboxed him and learnt different things in there. And I think learnt on the job, and that's how my professional career has been, is learning on the job, jumping in there, at the deep end of things and learning, and that's what I'm here to do. And I'm taking on them type of challenges against experienced dudes, rough, rugged, tough guys that always come to win, always come to put on a statement against that Eubank name, and that's what I had in there, and that's what I overcome, dealt with, and outboxed him.
You definitely did, mate. I think one thing from my notes, as I said, I made notes throughout the fight. Kind of one thing you have got is the Eubank chin as well. Kind of you were taking it in there, learning, riding the shots as well. Kind of also, it was a last-minute replacement as well. Kind of, was it difficult to kind of deal with, or did you just kind of, I have to do the best. I have to be the best Harlem Eubank. It doesn't matter everyone.
Exactly, that's the case. I have to be the best version of myself every time. I can't afford to have a lackluster performance. Because everyone's bringing 110, 120% when they come to fight me, and I'm aware of that, and I'm always up for that challenge, and always know I'll have the best version of whoever's in there against me, regardless of their record before or their previous form. So I'm well aware of that, and I just try and bring the best version of myself. Obviously, opponent change on 24 hours notice, can't help them type of things. Sometimes they happen in boxing, so again, it's just the experience of that happening, and that will help me, for fights down the line when maybe there's a change near the fight, and you just have to adapt and overcome. And yeah, it's good experience in the bank.
Definitely, and obviously you came through as well. And as you mentioned there, I think one thing that you are getting a lot of praise for, as well as your boxing ability, is kind of the way how you're progressing very quickly, but also taking the correct steps in your career. Kind of, what in your mind, if you were in charge, what would be next for you? Would it be kind of a title? Would it just be another step up in opponent, or do you not particularly care?
I think as long as I'm overcoming the challenges, and the challenges are getting clearly, bigger and better every fight. I think the opponents that I've had very good opponents, very capable opponents, and if you look at the recent title fights, my opponents are of that same type of challenge. So the way the titles and stuff line up, I'm happy to take on them challenges as well, and I'll be ready for them. So yeah, I think they can happen. They can definitely happen this year, and we're pushing on towards them big fights, and some of the big names in the division.
Definitely, kind of one name that was mentioned was after the fight was the British super lightweight champion Dalton Smith. Is that a fight that, obviously I think you just answered it, but is that a fight you'd like before the end of 2023?
Definitely, I'd definitely be well up for that fight. Around the end of the year, just before we go into that new year. So yeah, them fights, they're the type of fights that can happen, and that's what excites me, because I know there's big challenges in the division, and great fighters, and he's a very, very good fighter, and I believe I'm a very good fighter that's improving as well. So I'm ready to overcome them type of challenges for sure.
Yeah, well, I look forward to that one being made. That'd be great. You mentioned kind of these fighters who do come over. There's one thing they do know is the Eubank name, especially fighting in Britain. Kind of. Obviously, it kind of automatically gives you a target on your back, even if you weren't boxing, even if you were doing any combat. I know you've done combat sports beforehand. Have you found it kind of difficult to deal with kind of the pressure of the Eubank name, or have you had to work kind of twice as hard to prove yourself?
I think I've had to work twice as hard to prove myself. I think the public as well. I think when I first started, I think people assume you're just doing it to, you know, as a kind of fad, or, you know, and it takes a while of, you know, showing people that you're serious about it before they take you seriously. And I feel like that I've had to work twice as hard to for people to take me seriously in the game, and you know, I think now that people are seeing that, you know, I can fight, and they're seeing against good opposition that I'm taking on. So I think it is the case for me that I get the best version of every fighter, and I've had to do more than anyone else to you know, to show that I can fight, and that it's not, nothing's been handed to me, nothing's been given to me on a plate. I've had to work for everything in boxing, and the position I'm in now, I've had to work twice as hard to get there. So yeah, I think it's just going to add fuel to the fire in building me as a fighter, and yeah, I think I'm going to be in a very strong position when I go into them fights against some of the top guys in the division. That experience.
Definitely. Would you say, obviously, I think you kind of mentioned it there, is it so you kind of use your name as kind of as motivation to create your own legacy?
Yeah, I use it as a fuel. I love the legacy that's been created. It's very inspiring for me. Love my family, love my uncle, my cousin, you know, my family. So it inspires me, the legacy that's been left. But yeah, I've definitely had to work twice as hard to carve my own path in the sport, and I'm going to continue to do that.
Definitely, I think with every fight that you have, Harlem, everyone's talking about you, so you are doing exactly what you're saying as well.
Thanks very much.
And kind of, obviously, you mentioned kind of training here with Adam Booth and the team. Kind of, you were saying off camera to everyone, I could listen to Adam Booth kind of break down a fight every single chance I get. I think. How beneficial is it training here? Like, what specific things do Adam and the team do to kind of improve your game?
I think it's just about passion. You know, Charlie Beat, who I've done a lot of work with, and Adam, they break down. They're passionate about the sport and learning. You know, I'm learning as a fighter. Charlie's learning as a coach. Adam's always learning. You know, it's a constant thing of trying to perfect. You never achieve perfection, but as long as you're trying to get closer to it, then you're improving, and that's what we all have as fighters and coaching staff. So it's a good environment to be, where everyone's learning, and that's what life's about.
Definitely, mate. My last couple of questions. Obviously, we've got Michael going for the world title shot. His second one against Alberto Lopez. Obviously, best person to kind of ask if someone trains with Michael. How is he looking going into that fight? And how do you see that fight going on May 26th?
He's in a great place. You know, the way he trains is, he's you know, it's inspiring to be around him. Training with him, his tempo's different, his work rate, his tenacity, and his mindset, and he's in a very good place mentally now. Like, in preparation, I think he knows he's destined to be a world champion, and I think this time round he has that extra experience under his belt, and he knows what he's got in front of him, and it's just a matter of time before he's world champion, and I think this is his time now, and he's in a very, you know, he's been in the gym for, you know, since Christmas, and obviously the fight's May, so he's very dedicated, very focused, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do come fight night, because, you know, I think he's going to become world champion in very, very dominant fashion.
Definitely, I'm looking forward to that one, but I think Archie gets to go, so I'll have to watch it on TV like everyone else. And my final question, Harlem, thank you again for giving me your time today, mate. What does boxing mean to you?
It means a lot. It's combat, you know. It's a spiritual, physical outlet, and yeah, it's passion, it's brutality, it's you know, it's love, it's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. It's something that can teach you many things in life, inside the ring and outside the ring. And yeah, I don't think it can be summed up in one word, but it gives it's a very giving sport in the sense that it can instill values and confidence just to fighters, but also to people that just train and do it for enjoyment. So it's a sport that gives a lot, I think.
Definitely. Harlem Eubank, sorry, a bit distracted by the rest of the team doing their drills in the background, but Harlem Eubank, thank you again for your time today, mate.
Appreciate it.
Best of luck for 2023.
Nice one. Thank you. Cheers. Nice one.